Against this right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. I can take it from here. First things first, people deluded. I'm back again. I hope you're all enjoying your weekend, people. I hope next week is great for you, even better than the previous week, which I also hope was good for you. Hope you and your loved ones are in good health, good spirits. And yeah, man, I hope that long continues. As usual, very appreciative of all the support you give my platforms. I say platforms because, you know, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all of that stuff, people. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, you're, you know, hitting the like button, you're commenting, you're boosting the YouTube algorithms, and you're following on all the platforms as well. Turn on your notifications and check out the other videos and playlists. Shameless plug, but obviously it's the big one today at the time of making this video. It's 3 minutes past 12, people. Live from 3:30 because Arsenal kick off at 4:30. I'm watching the Manchester United Arsenal game, Arsenal versus Manchester United with you lot. We need to get back in blood. They took 3 points off us at Old Trafford. We need to do something today, innit, people? You know, we've got the two Manchester teams this in our next two fixtures. Friday next week we've got the FA Cup, which when that rolls around there will be a watch along for that, people. As you know, we're getting to the close of January, but it's transfer window business, people. Again, Arsenal seem to be doing the business. The two men behind me, in Leandro Trossard and obviously Kiwior, again, the young Polish international, spent a season playing defensive mid, has played centre half, looks fairly competent on the ball, looks like a good complementary player to our squad in terms of squad depth with scopes to grow. The same logic obviously applies to Leandro Trossard, but he's a bit different. He's 28, he's ready to go, and there's a lot to like about Trossard for Arsenal, people. I don't necessarily think either player at this moment in time raises the needle of the squad, but if we look at when Liverpool got their act together, you sign a couple of competent players and suddenly the squad depth is a lot stronger. With Trossard, obviously, you know, eases the burden, I believe, on Martinelli playing up front. Obviously, probably comfortable behind the striker. So that's competition for Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, etc. And obviously, left wing is probably out of the wide areas. Is kind of accepted at Arsenal that obviously he has to keep performing, but is Saka or bust there? Left wing seems like open season. Martinelli, Smith Rowe, you know, Jesus might even come back and maybe he'll have to play out wide if Eddie's form continues, which I don't believe, but you get the point. Obviously, Reece Nelson's out, can play on the right. I think he prefers to play on the left, whether he's here long term. There's a lot to like about Trossard. Experienced, adaptable, Premier League proven, relatively bow-footed, and I don't know how it would make sense, people, but one thing I like about him, you know, he takes his opportunities to score goals quickly, and if it's on his left foot, he bangs it on his left foot. If it's on his right, he puts it on his right. Very much an Arsenal footballer, people. So yeah, hopefully, you know, we can bring a couple of more players in. Hopefully the summer where Declan Rice, etc. are concerned, we bring someone like that in, people. As I said, it's transfer window business. The hustle, you know, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. So let's see what's going on, people. Please make sure you offer your own opinions. You're smashing the like button and doing all of that good stuff, people. Declan Rice. Now, we've heard Arsenal have made him a priority for the summer. He's contracted until 2024 with the option of another year at West Ham, people. So it's a position of strength or weakness, depending on how you look at it. Now, I have to say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. When I hear rumours, again, Arsenal are allowed to be as confident as they want, but when you hear and see things that we've been going over, that Arsenal are confident of Declan Rice's signing, he prefers us versus Chelsea, and obviously Chelsea have pulled our pants down where Felix and Mudryk are concerned. Mudryk, who looked decent in a little cameo against Liverpool yesterday. So until we hear a fee's been agreed, a deal's been agreed, and he'll sign in the summer, everything's debatable. But I mean, why wouldn't Declan Rice like it? He's 23, so he would kind of tie in indirectly with Zinchenko, Odegaard, Jesus, young players who are probably significantly more experienced than what we have, ready to hit the ground running. such as Mikel Arteta's ID and talent identification and how he improves players, I don't doubt that there's more gears to come in Declan Rice's game. I do think he's got a very good technical level, which in his team, he's a piano pusher. His job is to win the ball back and all of those things. So he could be an 8. For me, I think that's the long-term Partey replacement. And I think he'll pay for himself. Yeah, you'd be paying a premium, but he'd be here for years. English, scope to grow, key player for club and country, I assume. It would be money well spent. Obviously, if you have 100 million, I'd rather go for his England colleague Jude Bellingham because he's got more match winner stuff in him. But that one there is a myth. Now, we've heard, as I said, the Athletic have reported that Declan Rice is a priority for us in the summer, and probably a bunch of other clubs will be asserted to their situation, like even Man United, who have Casemiro, but Casemiro's not going to be there forever. If we jump the gun a bit at Arsenal today, if Casemiro's suspended or injured or whatever, then you'd have Declan Rice, because then they're relying on Fred and McTominay, players who have come in and done jobs. And for example, United beat us without Casemiro, but you get the point. So until we signed, the hustle is free, the dream is sold separately. But Declan Rice favouring move to Arsenal over Chelsea as West Ham exit nears. I'm not too sure about that. Just like we heard this with Mudryk, no two players are the same. And he's got a history with Chelsea. I'm sure, if I look at it for me, I think Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City, it provided they all wanted him, they could all sell him a decent project. I actually think Spurs need him the most, but they ain't got the juice. But apparently, Declan Rice favouring move to Arsenal over Chelsea as West Ham exit nears. The prospect of working under Mikel Arteta appeals to the midfielder, obviously, of what he's done, what Mikel Arteta has done since he's got here and what he's doing this year and how all the players are improving. And I'm sure playing for England with Ramsdale, Ben White and Saka, they've had conversations about him. And obviously, Mikel Arteta was a midfielder as well, so he knows just that bit more about midfield, So look how Partey, Xhaka are doing well. And, you could extend that to Martin Odegaard. Think about what he could do to your game, especially the fact of what we're trying to build here. Declan Rice is leaning towards joining Arsenal this summer because of the prospect of playing for Mikel Arteta, who has drawn up plans for where the West Ham captain would fit into this team. Arsenal have made Declan Rice their top transfer target, where we heard that before, and are increasingly confident, where we heard that before, of beating Chelsea to his signature, where we heard that before. The midfielder is almost certain to leave West Ham, who are battling relegation this season, and is keen to test himself in the Champions League. Rice was in Chelsea's academy before being released at the age of 14, and he obviously knows Eddie Nketiah, and there's been an expectation that he'll eventually return to his boyhood club. However, Arteta is a huge fan of Rice, who is regarded as one of the best midfielders in Europe, and Arsenal emerging as the favourites to buy him. Manchester United are also expected to join the race for the 24-year-old. I mean, if Chelsea were to get him, Moses Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and they'll probably, when Luke de Jong and Jude Bellingham rumours go full circle, they'll probably be involved in that. And Chelsea have shown their pockets are deep. So as much as I want Declan Rice and I would love him to sign, in terms of the skill set, for 100 million, could you go and find a European counterpart or someone else who can plug the gap and maybe spend elsewhere if that isn't to happen? Because as you've seen, when players are in high regards, by all means, go after them as much as you want. You do need contingency plans. West Ham will hope to fetch more than 100 million for Rice, which would make him the most expensive English player ever. Wouldn't that be Grealish? I mean, if it is more than 100. However, the England international's contract runs until the summer of 2024 with the option of an additional year, and that could force West Ham to settle for a fee in the region of 80 million. The numbers will not put off Arsenal, and they believe they can fend off interest from Chelsea, who beat their rivals to the 70 million signing of Mudryk from Shakhtar last week. The prospect of moving to the Emirates Stadium and working under Mikel Arteta appeals to Rice. He has seen Arteta turn Arsenal into title contenders this season and would be confident of the Spaniards coaching him, making him a better midfielder. People, the addition of a central midfielder this summer will be priority for Arsenal, who host Manchester United on Sunday. Arteta believes that Rice would provide elite competition for Xhaka and Partey. Again, and I'm sure he'd want to start. We saw this a few days ago, people, in relation to Declan Rice. Apparently, sources say that Rice has been speaking of Arsenal in glowing terms to his teammates, pronouncing himself stunned with the progress the North London side has made. Indeed, his private comments about the Gunners are said to be even more effusive than those in public, where he labelled them a top team and that you can see they're coached incredibly well. Rice's circle have been planning for a move away from West Ham, who are currently battling against relegation from the Premier League. Being devil's advocate, I don't want West Ham to go down because I like West Ham, but even though they're London rivals, but if they did go down, he could be available for a knockdown prize. Arsenal are confident they can get their man who would serve as an immediate rival and long-term successor to Thomas Partey and Xhaka, both of whom will be in their 30s when the new season begins. They're unlikely to be alone in their pursuit of Rice, with Manchester United having been tracking him for some time, though for now, Casemiro is firmly, their guy. Chelsea are also long-term admirers of the former academy prospect. For a time, it seemed they were the natural club to secure the 24-year-old services, but 10th in the table with a 10 points gap to 4th, they face an uphill task. I mean, Chelsea will be back. They've got a very fantastic project they're about to undertake. Right now, this is just a transitional period, so I wouldn't just look at immediately where both clubs are at, because, you know, you look at maybe a year ago, Arsenal didn't look as rosy as Chelsea, or 2 years ago, so these things can fluctuate. I do think Arsenal have a great project, and obviously there's a degree of bias, but I do think people are underestimating Chelsea, and obviously the fact of what he's got with them. And, you know, if Chelsea do finish 10th, whenever they finish 8th or 10th, yes, it's not Roman Abramovich era and things, but they always hit back the following season. So 2023-24, Chelsea might be on stuff. So that's that where Declan Rice is concerned. Keeping up the theme of midfielders, people, apparently Martin Zubimendi rejects 52.7 million Gunners move, people. Arsenal were willing to trigger the release. He's been linked with Barcelona. We're willing to trigger the release clause of Martin Zubimendi until learning that the midfielder was not keen to leave Sociedad during the January transfer window, according to reports in Spain. We'll have to see, people. And, you know, we are bringing the Polish lad who can play in other areas, people. He's 23. He's enjoying a good season. I mean, he's been around for a while. Very good technically, very good engine and all those things. A typical Spanish midfielder in some parts. The Gunners made contact with Real about the move after being informed of his price. The Premier League leaders then spoke with Zubimendi. He apparently has rejected the chance to make the switch to North London. He has recently signed a new contract with the club and he wants to stay for now. He's got interest from Barcelona, people. There's a feeling he's closer in style to Sergio Busquets than Ruben Neves. Bring Ruben Neves to the carpet if that could be the case, people. So we'll have to see. Apparently, Jacob Kiwior will be at Arsenal versus Manchester United match at the Emirates today. He'll sign his contract on Monday or Tuesday, reveals his agent in an interview with whoever this is. Again, Google Translate. I'm sure there's a bunch of talking points and sound bites that have probably come out in relation to this, people. What is this? Apparently, Arsenal sometimes reach for the unobvious solutions. Aaron Ramsdale has been relegated from the Premier League twice in a row, being questioned, and is now one of Arsenal's best players. Edu and Arteta have a very good eye. This is a great distinction for Kiwior, who's drawn interest from Juventus and AC Milan, people. Google Translate what's being said here. Apparently, the advisor his advisor on the background of the Arsenal transfer said just before New Year's Eve, Cuba had a telephone conversation with Mikel Arteta, who told about many details, presented a plan for him and what the road to play him may look like. Apparently, he was enchanted, people, which is good news, people. You want to hear? I mean, if the manager couldn't, you know, convince you on the project, then we have to look at something completely different, people. So yeah, man, it seems that we're getting over the line where he's concerned, people. Again, in Slovakia, Kiwior's club played Pep/Arteta style of football, where defenders open moves with their passing. At Zelina, he was compared to Milan Skriniar. The player will be in the VIP box for Arsenal versus United. I mean, Skriniar's contract's running down. Bring him as well. But if you are like Skriniar, defender I like a lot, you're in good stead, man. I want to see you be Kiwior, but I'm here for it, people. I'm really and truly here for it. We'll circle back on these in a minute, people. So yeah, we've seen that. Again, we've already just made it clear he'll be there. Apparently, Fabrizio Romano has said it's important to say that Arsenal are really busy in the transfer window. And yesterday, I released a video saying it's not over for Arsenal because they're exploring options on the market. They signed another player after Leandro Trossard. Done deal. Now it's here we go for Jacob Kiwior, Polish centre-back of Spezia. Many of you don't know this player, but he's a Polish international doing very well in Serie A. Last defender we've brought from Serie A worked out well in Tomiyasu, so bring him. This is why Juventus sent their scouts multiple times. This is why Milan wanted to sign him last summer, having the player for the future. West Ham also had a bid rejected of 12 million euros last summer for Kiwior. So many important clubs moved for him, but Arsenal decided to go behind the scenes. They closed the agreement with Spezia, and I'm told everything was signed in the afternoon. So the agreement is completed, signed, and waiting for the player to fly to London during the weekend with his agents to have medical tests and to sign until June 2028, which obviously we've made some progress there. Arsenal will pay around 25 to 30 million euros, add-ons included. So this is the total package of the deal, but this is how Arsenal are acting. I told you, keep an eye on new opportunities, and here is Jacob Kiwior. On Fresneda, it's not over yet. We'll see. It depends on the outgoings because Cedric is on the list at Fulham, and we'll have to keep an eye on the situation of Ivan Fresneda. We have rumours of a done deal with Arsenal, but what I'm told at the moment is there's still no agreement with any club. The agent of Fresneda will be in London next week, people. So again, some people say Monday, Tuesday, he will sign for Arsenal. As you can see here, just before New Year, he had a phone conversation with Mikel Arteta discussing many details. He was enchanted. Jacob will sign on Monday/Tuesday for Arsenal. He'll be in the VIP box for the game versus United. So the quickest game he could be eligible for is probably Man City on Friday. We have heard, there's work permit things to get around, finer I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed. So we can't really get this completed to the speed in time for United like we was able to do for Leandro Trossard, people, as seen here. Apparently, Tottenham are discussing a potential loan deal for Zenolio, including an option to buy. Roma only want permanent deal proposals as things stand. Understand Spurs are also prepared to offer one player as part of the deal. Roma want 35 to 40 million. Roma have cut off talk of signing a new deal. I mean, there's obviously Spurs need players. There's obviously part of the Conte connection. He has been linked with Arsenal. I think he's a fantastic player. If you could get the price knocked down because his contract is running down, then why not? The only big problem for all his quality is two massive ACL issues at the age of 23. That doesn't fill you with good stead. And as we've seen with Telemans, it doesn't appear Arsenal are ready to bid mad money on a player whose contract's going to be down in 4, 5, 6 months. So read into that what you will, people, really and truly. So we'll have to see exactly what's been said here. Apparently, the Spezia coach is actually unhappy with his sale. Well, better yet, his former player, Jakub Kiwior's £17.5 million move to Arsenal. He's frustrated. I mean, if he's that good of a player, it would be frustrating. And if you lose a player mid-season, according to what they're trying to do, it's an issue. But they've made a handsome profit on someone that they've had for less than 18 months. He said, I'm very happy for Kiwior and this opportunity he created for himself. It's also the biggest sale in Spezia's history, and I imagine the club is happy with that too. However, I cannot be happy with it. There are coaches who constantly complain and ask for reinforcements. That is not me, but I'm often in a situation where my club sell at a big profit. Well, that's what they're trying to do. That doesn't mean the players who arrive to replace them are worse. They are merely less ready to deliver. It's frustrating for the coach when you work to build a team up and then you don't get to enjoy the fruits of your labor as they are sold and you press the reset button. Could understand why it's frustrating, but that's how it happens, people. Kiwior was happy at how much Mikel knew about him when they spoke before New Year's, people, which kind of tells you everything there, really. I think we've seen this. We've kind of gone over my man's comments already, innit? This brothers. So, yeah, man, I don't want to keep going over the same thing. So there you have it there. He will complete his medical test in London as a new Arsenal player today. Then he'll be at the Emirates. Plan confirmed. There's 25 million euros deal will be signed also on the player side. Arsenal and Serie A side Spezia have already signed documents yesterday afternoon. That was on the 21st of January, which is now the 22nd of January. So you'd like to imagine some progress has been made since then. As it says here, past medical test, big transfer announcement coming soon. He underwent medical tests before transferring to Arsenal. The information was provided by Fabrizio Romano, people. He'll sign a 5.5-year deal. We know he's currently in London and will be at the Emirates today. He's underwent medical. So again, official confirmation, photographs, work permits, I's dotted, T's crossed, and hopefully early next week. If not, he'll be an Arsenal player. Probably. I don't think Arteta will be happy to answer questions about him on the eve of the Arsenal United game. But you'd imagine, regardless of that result, people, don't forget 3:30 today. I'll be doing a watch along. In the aftermath of the game, hopefully we've won because it means he might be a bit happier and shed a bit more details. But he'll obviously be asked on this, innit, people, and it's probably been briefed by Arsenal's media team. Not that Arteta doesn't know how to answer them. We've been linked with Fresneda, and as I keep saying, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let me know your opinions, people. Make sure you set your reminders for the Arsenal United watch along. But until players are signed, everything's debatable, especially players in high demand. Where Ivan Fresneda, you've seen Dortmund, Liverpool, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Newcastle, and a bunch of other clubs linked with him. Fabrizio said Arsenal have planned for a new round of talks for Ivan Fresneda next week after opening negotiations with both the player and the club side. Newcastle remain keen on signing the Spanish right back. Fresneda would be open to a Premier League move, people. Also, Arsenal to hold further talks for Real Valladolid right back Ivan Fresneda. Arsenal have moved back into pole position for the 18-year-old who has a buyout clause set at 8.8 million. Newcastle made attempts to sign the teenager last week, but have now switched back to West Ham right back Harrison Ashby, 21. Fresneda was left out of the Valladolid starting lineup on Saturday as they lost to Atletico Madrid, and has a number of clubs showing interest, people. So I don't know if that means he's not focused, if they want to protect against injuries, I don't know. But apparently Arsenal on the brink of Ivan Fresneda transfer after Mikel Arteta persuades Real Valladolid star to snub Newcastle move. I mean, until we hear medicals, I's are dotted, T's across, people are holding shirts. The dream is free. The house was sold separately, but further confirmation on such, people. So we're getting the transfers done. As I said, people, Fabrizio Romano said Ivan Fresneda was not in the starting 11 today with Valladolid because of negotiations with Arsenal. Arsenal are now speaking seriously on the Fresneda deal, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on in that regard. We've also been linked with signing some centre-back who is technically plays for Midfield, but he's playing in the second division in Portugal, I believe. Know nothing about him. But Arsenal are considering buying Diomande from Midfield and soon after loaning him to Sporting Lisbon. Possibility, however, no longer exists. The English and Portuguese are now working on different fronts for the young centre-back loan to Marfra. The Danes still ask for 10 million euros, people. Allegedly, our plan was to buy him outright and then loan him to Sporting, but Sporting want him, people. Both are trying to sign the player, as you can see there. Arsenal are in talks to sign Ivan Fresneda from Real Valladolid. Goal can confirm the Valladolid player was on the bench on Saturday. We've been linked to him for some time. Romano has claimed they've already started negotiations with his agent, who Goal understands was at the club's training ground last week and has also held talks with other teams in England. Arsenal are not the only team in with a chance of signing the 18-year-old, with Newcastle also said to be interested, people. So we'll have to see what's going on there. Arsenal now having very good talks with 79 million start at the Emirates, people, in relation to William Saliba. Contract talks are very good, people. If I had to guess, I'd say Martinelli first, Saliba second, and then eventually Bukayo Saka. But hopefully I'm wrong, and we can wake up tomorrow and they've all signed new long-term deals, people. He currently earns 40k, but because now he's our first choice centre back, you'd imagine he at least doubles that or takes it into the 120k region sort of thing. And regardless of this, at 21 years of age, within the next 18 months, 2 years, he'll probably sign an improvement on whatever he signs now. The same goes for everybody else, because retaining players, making them feel valued in terms of finances, keeping your squad together is almost, if not as important as bringing in new players, people. Apparently, I'm told the conversations are very good between Saliba and Arsenal. The player is really happy at Arsenal. I honestly don't see there being a big problem or any issues. He's playing, he's improving. Even when he's made mistakes, he's still got to play. What looked like muddied waters, it looks like the coast is clear right now. And, you know, it's your position to lose, really. You know, the manager likes you, you're playing all the games and whatnot. It's calm. Apparently, Leandro Trossard's mother reveals Arsenal's new signing was on Spurs' radar. There was a clear signal from the Gunners. Leandro Trossard's mother has revealed Tottenham Hotspur, one of the clubs to have shown an interest in him before he completed a move to Arsenal from Brighton and Hove Albion. And we heard we actually hijacked Marseille. She said, very proud. It also marks the end of a number of exciting weeks. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Leandro has been on the radar of a number of clubs for some time. She then said, we knew the club also followed Leandro, but when they reported to us, it was unexpected. Within about 48 hours, things were settled, a clear signal that they absolutely believed in him. Apparently, he was a secret fan of Chelsea, and despite this, he quickly agreed to join Arsenal. Obviously, he's a professional footballer. Leandro is someone who has a very strong will. If something isn't right, he won't. So he is firmly convinced that he can succeed at Arsenal. It was said on Sports Late Night that he can finally put the Roberto Martinez chapter behind him. It's a dream. Imagine that he can add a new title to his honours list in a few months. I always say Leandro was born with a ball. This is a reward for his fighting spirit. He never gives up. Big up, mummy. Mummy knows best. Arsenal have very good chance of signing Ivan Ndicka despite Spurs' offer. Now, obviously, Kiwior can play centre-back, and I've always said I would like two centre-backs. Respectfully to Rob Holding, I just feel if you could have right now, until somebody sign, even though Kiwior, we've got Benjamin White playing right back, but he can move over there. I'd say we've got 3 first choice centre backs. You've got the partnership of Gabriel and Saliba. Benjamin can get in there. Then I'm going for Tomiyasu and then Holding. But if you could get Ben White can do his thing at right back. You've got Benjamin who can play there. You've got Gabriel. You've got Saliba. You've got Kiwior. You could even go into centre mid and even left back, allegedly, people, and he can play there. And if you could bring in Ivan and Ndicka, you've got 5 good centre backs. And obviously, the Tomiyasu who can cover all the areas. And naturally, you'd probably have to phase Rob Holding out, even though he's a good guy and things. I just feel you need someone that could be behind the three centre backs currently. That's a level above, and then you need someone that can take in that holding role that's better than him, people. And as you know, Ivan Ndicka's contract's running down, and we keep getting linked with him, the Telemans, Zinoliana, etc. Arsenal have a very good chance of signing Ivan Ndicka despite Spurs' offer. And when you look at it, Ivan Ndicka, you'd be competing with 3 players for 1 spot, really. You know, if you look at as much as everyone can play everywhere, you've got Gabriel, who's probably going to be ahead of you. You've got Kiwior, who from now till then could be there, and you've got Ivan Ndicka. So maybe it looks in Spurs ain't really got no centre back. So maybe us signing the young Polish lad has indirectly strengthened another club's hand. But who knows, people? Everything's up for debate. Arsenal and Tottenham are both linked to signing Ivan Ndicka. Again, we've heard this before. We've heard we actually wanted to bring him in January. According to Christian Falk, Arsenal have a very good chance of signing the towering defender. Spurs need him, you know. Apart from Romero, Tanganga, who they got? Tanganga, Dyer, Davies, who's all right. Sanchez, bro, you could play at Spurs in the back three, assuming Conte's still there. If he's leaving the club, I would say yes, they have a very good chance, but also Frankfurt is hoping to keep him. He has an offer on the table of a new deal. It's a 3-year contract. He gets more money, but also if he gets 3 to 5 million euros, this is what I've heard. So I mean, he hasn't really shedded any real significant light there. Zinolio's agent ready to fly to London, but clause blocks Tottenham transfer. Bro, but a clause is blocking his what? What does that mean? The two clubs haven't reached an agreement. Apparently, they could also consider a loan with an obligation, but Tottenham director Fabio Paratici hasn't agreed to those terms. Crazy. So I don't think we're in for Zinolio anyways, people. Some of you, got enticed by the Camavinga links. His agent has said on Tottenham and Chelsea, Arsenal and Chelsea links, there's no truth. Of course, every club in the world would want him, but he's very happy in Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are very happy with Camavinga. So yeah, that one there's done. Fabrizio said, what I am told this moment of the market, Real Madrid have absolutely no chance and no intention to let Camavinga leave on loan. At the moment, Real Madrid wants to continue with the same squad until at least the end of the season, people. So again, that one there is a myth, people. And as you can see, Kiwior's brother is in an Arsenal jersey. This was from 7 years ago, and this is back to his days at Anderlecht. So there's always been an admiration, people. I hope Szczesny, Fabianski, anyone who's crossed paths with Arsenal, that's of Polish descent, has done things. And I hope to see Kiwior strike a good relationship with our young goalie Hubert, because obviously he's of Polish descent, even though he's played for England at youth level. So it is what it is in that regard. We've once again, in relation to Diaby, we know that Arsenal had already contact with Moussa Diaby for last summer, so he's still on the list for not just for the winter. We've heard Leverkusen don't want to sell him. Perhaps if Arsenal have a lot of money somewhere, maybe 100 million, Leverkusen would then have a discussion, but I don't think Arsenal can spend that, as we've seen from the amount they were prepared to pay for Mudryk. But they knocked on the door last summer, so I'm sure they'll knock again. Contracted until 2025, would be a great competition for Saka. Needs to learn how to play on the left, because I think one thing I like over Trossard, with a couple of wingers we've been linked with, when you look at Rafinha and Diaby, two very different players according to when they play on the left and the right, people. What is this? Arsenal inch. Oh, this is just still Moussa Diaby stuff, people. Apparently, Yuri Telemans wants to leave Leicester in the summer, people, which we've heard already. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal have always wanted Telemans in the club, and they still do, but Telemans doesn't want to move in January. His contract is expiring in the summer, and he wants to move on a free transfer, maybe to get his loyalty bonus. I mean, if you could get Declan Rice, Telemans, and whatnot, Lokonga probably have to keep it moving, maybe even get rid of El Nene, even if we've got too many midfielders. I can't lie, for next season, unless an offer gets presented that's too good to turn down, I'd let El Nene hang around like a spare part, really and truly, because there's a level of consistency we get from him. We're not going to make too much money, and I do want Arsenal to be in that scenario where we're kind of over prepared than under prepared, and we've got too many sort of players in terms of squad depth. So yeah, people. Santi Cazorla's joining Oviedo. We got Santi Cazorla. Oh, Santi Cazorla. So yeah, people, it doesn't seem like there's anything new here, people, in that regard. Martial out for the Arsenal game. Mistraining, that don't mean he's out. Finally, let's see what's going on here, people, on goal.com. What other rumours? Declan Rice prefers Gunners move in the summer. As we've seen, he's leaning towards Arsenal move, people, allegedly, until agreements have been placed. And we see on Sky Sports he's agreed to join us in the summer. Everything's up for debate. Arsenal in the picture to sign Vlahovic. Juventus are in turmoil because they're financial issues, and they've been docked 15 points, people. So they'll probably not be in the Champions League. With lots of players looking for an exit, Vlahovic is looking at a move away from Juventus. Apparently, he's been linked with Man United today as well, and he's actually enticed by being able to play for Ten Hag. According to 90 Minute, the striker wants to leave the Turin with Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich circling for the signature of the 22-year-old. I don't think we're going to go there, people. Yesterday, Vlahovic offered to Man United as club consider striking options. As you can see here, people. Champions League football is understood to be important to Vlahovic. United probably get it, and the player would like to play in the competition next season. At present, Man United have fun in the Europa League, mate, are looking a favourite to finish in the Premier League's top four and are planning to sign a first-choice striker before next season. Once again, Chelsea, Arsenal, PSG and Bayern are among the other clubs made aware of Vlahovic's availability, with centre-forwards a rare commodity in today's market. Juventus are understood to be almost understanding of the player's position and are ready to come to the table either in Jan or in the summer, though are looking to at least recoup the amount they paid for Vlahovic last year. If they are to do a deal, Fiorentina were paid 70 million euros with 10 million due to performance-related add-ons, people. So we'll have to see, people, really and truly. It could be anything for the 22-year-old Serbian lad. So it is what it is. Apparently, Kiwior announcement imminent for the Gunners. Arsenal face Newcastle competition for Fresneda. We were linked with Camavinga, as stated, on loan. We have confirmed the signing of Leandro Trossard. So it doesn't appear on the face of things like there's anything new. I'd say being linked with Zubimendi of Sociedad is probably the most left field rumour we've been linked with, you know, and Camavinga. In terms of Kiwior and these kind of players, we've been linked with them for the last couple of days. So with that being said, there's nothing more for me to add, people. As I said, best thing is I appreciate you lot for watching this video, commenting, subscribing, all of that. Please make sure that continues. I'm watching Arsenal Man United with you lot at 3:30. Let me know your opinions on the news. Are you for it? Are you against it? What would you like to see? What wouldn't? You know, again, you lot make the platform. It's an all-inclusive one. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, smash that like button. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. Check out the other videos, and we'll meet again soon, people.
There's always just that active red light defenders.
I think it's like